Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Staying in the Conversation. So for this morning's call, I have a really interesting topic. Nobody has asked any questions, so yeah, no, there's no questions here. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about what it is I intended to talk about for today, which is something that occurred the other day. It was really funny. It's based on how we say things and what words mean to us. Because as human beings, the same word can mean different things to different people. And so the title of this video is The Washing versus Washing Up. And the reason that came about was the other day, my partner went to wash the clothes. And she said, I'm going to do the washing up. I said, no, you're not. I'm doing the washing up. So I was washing the dishes and she wanted to sort out the laundry. But just that little tweak of words, she said, well, wait, why are you confused? What is the laundry called then? What do you call the laundry if it's not the washing up? I said, well, the washing up is the dishes. And then I had to think about it because I couldn't remember. And then I was like, okay, the washing is the clothes. Okay, they are quite similar. And it was just a really, really funny moment that just that one extra word up meant I was washing the dishes. And without the up meant I'm putting a load in the washing machine. And that just got me so curious about other things that we are so fixed on, like anything else in your world. Like, no, no, this means this, and it only means this, but it doesn't. Something bigger, like the word God. We all have preconceived ideas on what the word God means, what God means to me, what God means to you. Does it mean anything to you? Is it a word that has just been so overused that it's just numb to your senses that you just can't cope with that word? Or is it as something, can you just play with it the same way I played with the words, the washing and the washing up? It was just so interesting to see that in something so mundane. And this can equally happen for you. You can see this in your world, in what's happening for you in your life. And it can be something so simple like the washing up or the laundry, but it can also be very, very practical and very, very useful in everyday stuff, like in parenting with your children. Maybe your child says something and they don't actually mean what you think they mean. That definitely happens for me a lot as a nanny with little children. They say certain things, and before I react, I respond. Um, I take a moment, I take a breath, think, what are they actually meaning? And when we do that, it's a gift for ourselves that we do. It's a gift that we're giving to ourselves, and it's a gift that we're giving to the universe and the world because we're giving our child the chance to discover, something about themselves. We're giving the chance for ourselves to discover something more, something deeper. And so me and my partner went on to discuss these words, and I was like, okay, how about we just call washing up the dishes because it's the dishes anyways, and we'll call the clothes the clothes. She's like, okay, I can get my head around that. I was like, yeah, me too. Let's do that. And I can kind of hear like, oh yeah, but that's not serious and that doesn't matter. That's just petty technicalities on what words you use. and what words you're using for the dishes or the washing up. And that doesn't actually matter. How does that help me in life? And I can only speak from my own experience, and how that helps me is, well, one, it made me laugh. And there's nothing like having a good laugh. Like it really, really tickled me because it's not just one word, it's two letters. It's up. Up made all the difference. That one word, just up. It just made all the difference. Changing in that sentence, the washing or the washing up. And when we realize how silly that sounds, is there like, are there more serious places in your life, like things that are really bothering you, blind spots in areas of your life that you can kind of just see it's just two letters and it doesn't really matter? Is there a place where you can let go of something? Is there a place where you can see it differently? It's asking yourselves these questions, and different questions as well, because it's never fully taking on board exactly the words I am saying. It's picking up the feeling and the subtext, the words behind the words. That's what it's picking up on. It's taking the words behind the words. And that's genuinely what I saw as I was washing those dishes, that there are words beyond up. There are words beyond the ones we use, and we put meaning onto them. And that's the key to this. We put meaning when our 2-year-old says, Mummy, I hate you. We put meaning on, no, I am not going to do my homework. We put meaning on that defiance. We put a definition that's set in stone. We put meaning on the word up. And when we do that, it can cause a real detriment to our lives, because we begin to believe this meaning as a fact, and we live on that meaning as a fact that our child doesn't like us, that our child is defiant. And that just isn't the case. All that's happened is they've learned some words and they've learned how to string it together in a sentence. They've learned how to say no, and they're feeding off whatever reaction you're giving. And the same way, for whatever reason, in the English language, we have decided that the washing is laundry, but the washing up is the dishes. Now, I don't know if that's the case for everyone, because it certainly wasn't the case for my partner. For her, washing up, washing, it means the same thing. And maybe for me, it will begin to mean the same thing. Who knows? I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted. But just being able to take life less seriously, to soften it. When things are really, really hard and difficult and immovable, it's not very nice. It doesn't feel nice from the inside out. When life is an uphill struggle, it's like you're trudging through mud. But when we can soften it and we can see the good, we can see the silver lining, we can see a different perspective, it just gets that bit lighter. And I can see that even looking for the good sometimes can seem like a chore, or it can seem annoying. And it's like, well, no, this is just rubbish. This is just actual, you know, my child is super defiant, and this is really, 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 really difficult. There isn't anything good in this. And I can see that. I can see that it can look that way and it can feel that way, and it can definitely be that way for some time. And it isn't a matter of controlling, the same way you can't control a defiant child. You can't control what thoughts pop into your head. It's accepting that. It's accepting the what is, accepting what is happening. Like, okay, that is the fact. But then when we move beyond the fact of we are human, and so we have thinking. We have thoughts, and we have these ideas that certain things are good and that certain things are bad, certain things are pleasant, and certain things are unpleasant. And when we learn to be comfortable in the discomfort, it's like, okay, I'm really not enjoying this feeling, but is there a place in me that I know for a fact that I'm intact, I'm okay, I'm not broken? I feel rubbish, I feel awful, but there is a place in me where it's just a matter of perception. It's just two letters. Is there a place there that it can be as insignificant as the word up? And it really is just getting curious and finding that in yourself. But then also making time for relaxing and resting, because yes, this can be hard work, and it can be a lot of effort to learn yourself, to learn about yourself, to get to know who you really are, because we don't get taught it in school. Nobody teaches us in school to learn who we are, to get to know our learning styles, to get to know what we mean when we say something, because we just don't. As a society, for whatever reason, it's not something we do. It's not something we've done. So now you're here, you're listening to this, you're doing this. So you've had however many years of experience of doing the opposite, of not getting to know yourself, of learning to adapt to society, to learning how to fit into a box, learning how to do the right thing, learning how to say the right things. Somebody doesn't who isn't English isn't their first language. I mean, English is mine, and I can't even speak it very well. Um, somebody who's bilingual and they've learned English, they may say things incorrectly, or what we deem as incorrectly. Um, Someone told me their friend came over for dinner from, I think, from Sweden. And so they were all, having dinner together. I think it was like 4 or 5 of them at the table, and the Swedish friend is a very lovely person, very polite, and they've known him for years and years and years. But whenever he would say things like, "Can I have the salt?" like pass the salt, he would just say, "Pass the salt." And English people, or at least in my world, please and thank you are very, very important. And we use it at all times. And we teach our kids, please and thank you, say please. What's the magic word? And it's very, very important to say please and thank you. But he would consistently just say, pass the salt, or pass the potatoes, or pass this. He wouldn't say please, and he wouldn't say thank you. And so my friends were thinking, wonder what's going on. So they decided to ask him, why don't you say please and thank you? And he turned around and said, well, inbuilt in a sentence in Sweden, I think it's Swedish, or in his native tongue, please and thank you are already inbuilt in the sentence. So you don't actually need to say it as a separate word. And so he thought it was the same. He thought pass the salt had manners built into it. And so after hearing that wasn't the case, it's like, no, 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 you absolutely have to say please and thank you every time. Um, and once he realized that, he started saying please and thank you. So it's not that he was being impolite, he wasn't doing it deliberately. So it goes back to that 2-year-old who shouts, "Mummy, I hate you." It isn't that they hate you, it's just that they've, learned some words there too. And I'll get back to that in a moment. And then the person who's not saying please and thank you is probably just not in their nature to say please and thank you. And if you say it to them, if it feels, like as a curious thing in a kind way, if it feels like the right thing for you to do, and you just question them, oh, why don't you say please and thank you? Either they don't think it's necessary, they don't think it's important, or they already think they're saying it. Because we see things differently. And I just think that's incredible. And it's an incredible way to live when we live life through eyes of curiosity, when we live life through eyes of a child who can let go of things really easily. So back to that 2-year-old who says, Mummy, I hate you. What's beneath that? I don't know if you've heard of the iceberg. I think it's called iceberg analogy. And so it's like the tip of the iceberg at the top here is what you can see. It's the behaviors you can see, the biting, the hitting, the arguing, the shouting, the defiance, whether it's a 2-year-old shouting, Mummy, I hate you, or it's a 9-year-old refusing to do their homework. It doesn't matter. That's the behavior. That's the tip of the iceberg. And beneath it, what's happening? What are they really saying? Well, if they're 2, they really don't know what hate means, because do we even know what it means? So that sounds like anger to me. Anger, pain, upset. What are they going through on the inside? To be able to say those words, to shout, to necessarily just shout and be defiant or whatever it is that's going on. What's going on for them beneath the surface? And it also brings about the question, what's going on for you? It's like this constant, gentle give and take of, if that's what you're seeing from your child or from another person, if that's what you're seeing, this mirror image, what's going on for you beneath the surface? You have your surface point, you have the peak of the iceberg. You may be snappy at the kids or crying a lot or whatever it is that's going on for you, but what's beneath that surface? What's really going on? And that is for you to explore if you want to. You absolutely don't have to. But from my experience, from what I've seen from other people that I have helped, that I've spoken to, and from myself, it genuinely helps to look in this direction, to look inwards, non-judgmentally, like non-judgmentally at all, with love, compassion, kindness. Look at the places, where did I go wrong? What am I really feeling? Asking yourself these deeper questions in order to get to the root cause of why you do the things you do and why you say the things you say. And once we do that, then we can see it's just 2 letters. It's just up. And it really, really doesn't matter whether you call the dishes the washing up or the washing or whatever it is you call it. It honestly doesn't matter. Another example of these differences and how we see things differently is I've got a smartwatch, and the strap of the smartwatch, I call it a strap. It's detachable. I can buy new ones and get different ones. The little boy I look after, he also has a smartwatch. And he called his strap a case, which I was a bit confused about because his watch doesn't have a case. In my eyes, I can show you. This is my case for my watch, and this over here is the strap. So for me, they're two different things, two separate things. And he said, okay, well, that's all right. You can call it a strap if you want to. And yes, it probably is a strap, but I like to call it a case. So, okay, that's fine, as long as I know what you're talking about. And we proceeded to talk about the strap case and all the colors that he wants to have. And it was a really nice conversation. And when we're able to let go of the fact that other people say things differently or say the same word but mean something different, we we can see it from their perspective, and it can just be fun. It doesn't have to be this war. It doesn't have to be this battle against whose way is right, because both ways are right. We can have the argument that both ways are right or both ways are wrong. or both phrases are simultaneously wrong and right, because my way is right for me and his way is right for him. But that's a contradiction. And this is where we get a bit confused and we get a bit in the muddle as human beings with contradictions. It's how can yes and no exist at the exact same time? And truth be told, I don't know. I don't know how yes and no exists at the exact same time. But what I do know is that yes and no does exist at the exact same time. They're together, they're partners, they're always there. They're always there because we get to live this fantastic life, this fantastic world of differences. And if the reason I know, like I'm certain that yes and no exist at the same time, is because there isn't one size that fits everyone. There isn't one thing that will end all ends. There isn't one thing. There isn't one favorite color. There isn't one right way to wash the dishes, one right way to wash the clothes, one right way to cook. There isn't one right thing, and there isn't one wrong thing. It isn't, we just don't live in a world like that. We live in a world where we live in separate realities. And in those separate realities, we all have our very own yes and no's, wrongs and rights. And wars started, all the wars that happened was because one team thought they were right and the other team thought they were right, or that they should be the ones to get the oils or whatever it is they were fighting over. When we realize deeply that there is yes and no at the same time, we can settle within ourselves and we can find that inner peace that was always there. And sometimes, yes, it's going to be you to let go, and the other person won't let go because they haven't seen it yet. They haven't seen that there's both yes and no. And they really, really, really want you to know that their yes is yes. It's the yes above all yeses. And why not? Why would they not want you to know? Because they're doing it from a space of love and kindness, and they're doing it because they think that is the only way, without realizing that they think it's the only way. It's like we live in this world of contradiction, we live in this world of confusion, but we can simplify it by knowing that we can all be wrong and right at the exact same time. We can simplify it and soften it with love, kindness, and compassion. We can simplify it by knowing that sometimes people will call the laundry the washing up. And you will think they're talking about the dishes or something else entirely different. I've heard people say go wash up and they mean wash their hands and face. So, what do you call the dishes? What do you call the laundry? Go have a think about it or not, whatever it is that lights you up from the inside out. So I really, really hope there was something helpful in today's video. Today is the 20th of November, and next week there'll be another video coming out in a different playlist called Life's Big and Small Questions. So if you have a big or small question that you wish me to answer solely just that question, then please comment below this video, email me, join my WhatsApp group. All the information will be below this video, so you can do just that. But every 2 weeks, there's a staying in the conversation video. And then the in between weeks, there's the life's big and small questions. So every week, that means every single Wednesday, there will be a video on my YouTube channel. So do stay tuned for that. Subscribe, hit the bell wherever it pops up. Like this video if you like it. Comment below if you have a question that you wish me to talk about in more details. And if there's any oh, too excited. And if there's ever anything that is unclear or uncertain in the video that I've spoken about, I know sometimes I can go off on one. So if there is a bit that I've started talking about but haven't finished, do feel free to email me either privately on my email address or below this video. Just comment, what did you mean when you said XYZ? I do my best to go back and listen to my videos so I know exactly what I've said, and to be able to improve in the next video and say things that are helpful and to share things that are helpful for you and your exploration on your spiritual journey. So yeah, so if you've got any questions for anything, any videos, let me know. If you wish to work with me on a one-to-one basis, again, email me and I'll be more than happy to set that up. And I think that's all the announcements for now. And I will see you again very, very, very soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.